I have Guillermo Bernal as my guest today. He is the executive director of Fundacion Placemaking Mexico, a foundation that supports organizations in Mexico to implement placemaking projects through trainings, technical assistance, in-kind donations, design, construction, and activation of public spaces. Guillermo is also sharing his knowledge and experience as a leader on the networks PlacemakingX and Placemaking Latino America. In today's episode, we talked about his passion for his country and his people, communities' well being, and impact of public spaces on social sustainability. Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. I'm Asban Sari, the founder of the organization Peacemakers Pakistani, and I'm bringing you the stories of placemakers, artists, and professionals from around the globe about how they created an impact and made change happen. You are listening to the Making It Happen show. Thank you for joining in. Enjoy the episode.
Hello, Asba.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon for you.
Yeah. Good evening. It's evening over here. 7 p.m.
It's evening, yeah.
Yeah.
It's what, 7 p.m. there?
Yeah, 7 p.m.
Here's 8 in the morning, just
Yeah.
starting the day.
So how are you and what is happening right now in Mexico?
So we've been in a very complicated situation, I guess, as everywhere in the world. But we are going through this pandemic. There is a big community response to the pandemic for economic recovery and for public spaces to get the place the safe place to be considered safe places for people. So we're working also on that. So it's been a challenging time.
Yes. It has been a challenging time, of course, in different areas, and yes, but I'm glad that you people know that you have to focus on public spaces and you have to start there, right?
Yeah, no, people. I mean, and I think this will be the word in general for the next years. It's safe. It's more safe to be outside. So to meet our friends, to meet our family, we need to. It's better to be outside than indoors. So we as professionals now we need to start figuring out how to get the proper conditions to be safe outside. So that's the challenge we will face in the next years, right now and in the next years.
Yes, I agree. So let's start with our questions without any delay. Yes. Okay. So
Yes.
the first question is the same for everyone. Tell me about how did you find your passion about public spaces and how did you choose to be a placemaker?
Yeah. Uh, well, I would like to tell you that I do not consider myself a placemaker. I consider myself more a community builder, and that's something that Fred Kent always says. Like, I believe that the placemaker is the community, is the people around our communities, and that's what makes our movement so strong. It's the empowerment towards our communities and giving capacities around groups, people, organizations that will make us stronger. And I think in another perspective, but that's the same perspective of Placemaking X and all the regional networks. I know that yours and ours here in Mexico, we are like neighbors, at least in the website of Placemaking X. But it's so fantastic to realize how an idea and a concept and a process can be so powerful when we take it out from ourselves, from our organizations, from our professional practice, and take it towards the people. And that's my answer.
Yes, I agree totally. It is about people, it is about the community and how things flow and how we engage them. And we are the community organizers indeed. Okay, so tell me about Mexico and your attachment to it.
Well, it's I love my country. I think we have that in common, many of us. But also, I'm in love of the world, and how we are all connected. And I think that's something that uh, moved me towards this global perspective of creating good public spaces. And that is, I've been living here. I left to study, and then I came back for my practice here in Mexico for the last 10 years. And I'm being really rediscovering my country, the people around us, and that's something I'm passionate about. And I really try, as I told you in the first question, I always try to bring what we know, my team, myself and my team, towards other organizations, because I believe that if even if one person of one organization would like to change all public spaces, it's time consuming and it's impossible to do it. So sharing our knowledge and sharing what we learn, it's what we are trying to do here in Mexico, and that's help us bring other organizations into our network.
Yes, I agree because when people will come together and then steer a movement that will bring quick changes and also those more strong changes and data will be collected quickly. Right. Okay.
Absolutely.
So yeah, yeah. So you have started your foundation this year in Mexico to implement placemaking projects. So how has been the experience so far and the challenges about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's always challenging to start something new. It's always a challenge. It's always complicated. There is a lot of steps that you need to follow to formalize and organize what you think as an idea. Um, but my advice to everyone is to think outside what we are used to. Think outside the box. Understand that there will be constraints around the way, because our gender, our age, our religion, our way of thinking. But thinking outside that and bringing ideas strongly into our core, that would make our ideas and ourselves stronger. And that's exactly what happened here with the foundation in Mexico. Uh, we've been working with Lugares Públicos, an organization, for 8 years here in partnership with Placemakingx, with Ethan Kent, and with Placemaking X, uh, and this all this work with public spaces in the last 8 years. But then we realized that we need to think outside just a consultancy and just a collective of friends that organize public spaces and to manage public spaces, towards bringing this idea of a network of getting funding from different actors, towards pushing our agenda. So that's how we started. We, of course, we had a challenging time, especially in the beginning of last year. But when the ideas are strong and when the agendas are there, it's easier to arrive to a to a successful stories. And now we've been working in many parks around the country, and at the same time, many kilometers far away one from the other. But this, with the idea of connecting people, it's way easier. And happily, these digital platforms, as we are speaking, give us the capacity to speak with our closest friends, but also and closer in physical distance, but also our, like you and me, so far away, and we are just connecting.
Indeed, yes. It's a great experience learning from you people directly and also sharing my ideas and getting them polished. It's a great experience indeed. Okay, so I would ask you this question again, maybe. You want to collaborate with different organizations in Mexico. So what vision do you have, and what kind of impact do you want to create with this strategy?
Hmm. I think it's a goal that Fred and Ethan Kent tell us when they're empowering us to start our networks, and it's the same as we need to deliver. It's share knowledge, share the knowledge we are getting, share the knowledge there is on the platforms in other language, in English, in PPS website, in placemakingx, how to turn a place around, the books, the documentaries, all the work of more than 50 years of Fred. That sharing of knowledge, I think it's our goal, and not being keepers or gatekeepers of the knowledge, but sharing it, and that's what will make our global network stronger.
So generous of you. We have to be generous with our knowledge, otherwise it will be consumed. It will not spread, it will not grow as well. Okay, so what is the importance of parks and gardens in a city to you? How do you encourage authorities to pay attention to utilize them to their full potential, and why is there a need to consider it as a destination and not just a piece of land?
I it's an interesting question. I love that subject. It's the subject I love the most. I always encourage the communities to be to do insurgency, but to do it in a positive insurgency, be positive insurgents, be positive revolutionaries, to change the way we want to live is by changing ourselves. And this is Jane Jacobs also speaking, like, uh, we need to change ourselves first, and changing towards public space, that's what will make us stronger cities, stronger communities, stronger groups of friends or families. That is the key, and for me it's uh, try to do the change, try to change by changing ourselves, but being positive. It's not about uh, destruction or radical transformation, just in a negative way. It's about positivity. It's about sharing. It's about community. It's about friendship. It's about love. Like Fred Kent, in his social life project, he has this amazing first post about love. About he's speaking about Paris and the city of Paris in France, not about the buildings or the or the art or the shops. He's speaking about love. He's speaking about connections of people, and that's something we can see all around our world. How many group of friends are being shared in public space, and that's what we need to encourage. And that's my passion of work also.
Yes, actually, I wanted to have an answer for this question because I'm very passionate about the parks and I want them to be used to their full potential. And then I found your articles and your passion for parks, basically. So I was just so excited to have this discussion with you. And I've read about the LEA project. It was amazing. Okay, so you emphasize the importance of the social impact for a healthier world. Why is that so, and how did you come to this conclusion?
Yeah, now we are working on there's this discussion about social distance there, and this word I think has been translated everywhere, and I think there is a very clear difference between the word social and physical. And I agree completely that physical distance need to be taken into consideration in towards this pandemic, but also towards the future and the health of the future. But let's be very aware of social distance. That's something, that social closure, that's what something we need to encourage. And these connections and this capacity of triangulation, like William White speak very well about it, placemaking. One of the 11 principles of placemaking is triangulations, how to connect between people, between amenities, between things that are happening, activities. So these connections, that's social connections. That's another way to say it, and that's something we need to encourage. But let's be very clear that physical distance in this moment is very important. So that's something we need to achieve as professionals working and in this, and that's something I'm very passionate about, to discover this division between physical and social distance, and also how to achieve this healthier world, but also in a connecting social interaction. So this, I believe this is a challenge towards the next decade, and it's something we need to start speaking more. I would love to know what you think. I would love to know what everybody is working on this, because this is a collective knowledge we need to start also building.
Yes, if you want to know about us over here, yeah. Okay, so we can't live without social interactions. Even during the COVID, people in Pakistan were interacting. They were interacting without even masks. It was, the situation here was like that as well. But it was because people here know that they can't live without the social interactions. We lived with people, you know. I know the importance of it very well. But yes, we have been following the SOPs and everything as well. We have been socially distancing ourselves, but yes, with slowly people have realized that we don't have to be socially distant, we have to be physically distant, and then we have to socialize in while using the SOPs and everything that can be used. So yes, we are coming back to our lives, and also we are starting the projects here as well. So let's see how it goes, bring people together while following the SOPs and everything. Okay, so how will you explain that community outreach programs in public spaces create more strong and sustainable communities?
Yeah, I also, another principle of placemaking that I love to use, that is the community is the expert. Like that's how we become more sustainable. And I don't know if we share this, Pakistan and Mexico, but we have very weak governments in general. They have a lot of will of transformation, and I've been speaking with a lot of governments here in Mexico. They have a lot of will of taking charge and good and bad power about decisions. But the reality is that the construction of our communities, our cities, are by themselves, and uh, and giving the communities the capacity to transform the space, it's what it will make it more sustainable. It's not about, and we spoke about parks in a little bit, like it's not about creating a park with greenery, a playground, some tables and chairs, and a basketball field. It's about creating I will say, the software of this. It's creating a community of friends, or encouraging a community of friends that go and sit on the public space, encouraging a group of sport people doing two teams of sport and playing on the field, encouraging a group of families going to the playground and being a community. That's the park, the people, not necessarily the physical infrastructure. But it's hard to deliver it like that. But that's what will support it. Tomorrow, when the park is deteriorated because of weather, let's say, the community will still be there, and the park will still be there, and that's what it will make it sustainable. Not about who's gonna pay for the paint, the new paint, or who's gonna pave for the bricks, the concrete, the grass, the planters. Uh, what it will make it sustainable is the people. And if we see a lot of deteriorated public spaces, it's because there is not this activation strategy, and activities happening, and we did not understand and understood on the moment of the construction of the place that that the of a public space, that thinking of place, it's thinking also about people and thinking about community, and that's a community strategy for sustainability, and that's what will bring us. And think about the most iconic place for you, for everyone listening here. It's more the feeling than the physical construction of the space. So that is, for me, that's key to understand how to sustain our work and our communities.
Yes, it's like inspiring people to make their places where they already live great, like Fred says. Yeah. So it's empowering them and making them believe that they can make things happen for them through the process. Yes. So how do you define the term place?
Yes, this like, I will recommend you to read about this. It's a very philosophical book. It's called Spaces and Places from G. Futuan. It's a You can download it, on internet. I think there's like some ways to download the book, but he make this clear distinction between what's space and what is place. And my way of defining it, it's also, as we spoke a little bit before, it's about hardware and software. The hardware is like, the computer itself. That's space. That's And place, it's the meaning, it's the software of the public space. And that's exactly why Project for Public Spaces changed our placemaking, like a space to place. And that's how to bring content, meaning to the place. You never say to a friend of you, in which space we see each other in the street. It's weird. It sounds weird saying which place would you like to go, and then immediately you connect a place where there is a content in it. You connect towards a restaurant, towards a corner that is meaningful for you, but you will not say, in this there's this amazing street food, and let's see each other there, or let's go there. That's content, and that's how I define this difference. Have you listened about him? Have you ever listened about Jifu Tuan and his book?
No, I haven't, but I'm glad that you have recommended this to me. I will definitely check it out. Yes. I have been reading about the difference between place and space, and yes, I I think the thing that I remember most is that place has meaning to it. It has the content to it. Yes, a place is something where there is some activity or something. So that's what I have been able to understand
Let
from
me
it.
tell you another example, like Jifu Tuan used, and I think it's
Okay.
very clear for many. The difference between house and home.
Yeah.
House is the construction is the construction. Home, it's when the family goes inside and give content. So an architect, a good architect a parallel profession of ours, a good architect, it's someone that construct homes, someone that construct strong families, not someone that construct beautiful buildings. I mean, that is just the construction, and that will not last. That will not make creation of society. It's about the home, the families responding to context. And that's exactly the same with us in public spaces. Creating public spaces without meaning, creating public spaces without places, is like an architect creating a home without understanding the family or the people who's gonna live inside it.
Exactly. Okay, so how do you describe sustainable places that your network advocates for?
Sorry, again?
How do you define sustainable places that your network advocates for? Sustainable places.
Yeah, it's these places where people are being reflected in the construction of the space. It's seeing different identities. Maybe it's the same set of swings and the same uh, table, but it's about how different people are interacting with these amenities, with this infrastructure, what make it unique. And that's how I will define it. It's understanding how diverse we are as individuals and how diverse public spaces should be. It looks like they're all the same. I've been traveling around the world before the pandemic, but I went to Russia, and then I went to Tokyo, and then I came back to Mexico City, and then I saw many places. I saw that they look so similar, and we are so different in a way. But then there is this layer of understanding of people, and that's what it makes them so unique and so fantastic everywhere. Like in Tokyo, we were building parklets. This taking a place of a car and doing a park. And I was so amazed to see people of placemaking Japan that they were taking out their shoes to go inside the parklet. Like it's so fantastic how local identities are permeating around what we are doing. So and that's you can see also here in Mexico. As you as Pakistan, we are so big country with so many different kind of people from one region to the other, and understanding this, it's also understanding how different public spaces are.
Yes. Okay, so tell me a story about a place you worked on where there were small areas full of activity and things to do. Like you recall something, you share it with me.
Yeah. So yeah, like it's kind of the first or one of the first projects I work on, and I was so lucky to have the support of Ethan and the team of Private Public Spaces on that time. An amazing friend now, Phil Wynn. We work here in a park in Mexico City in a forum. It was an empty forum, and we try 100 different activities, and we tried them. We understood who lived around, who was using the space, or who had potential to use the plaza, and we test 100 different activities. We measure. We were methodical about when, how, who will actually this, because a lot of people say, we love to do this, but then at the end there was not a real connection within their activities and the place. But from those 100 activities, we tested a lot of activities. We arrived to 3 activities that were actually sustainable, that had a real impact, and that could have a community that would take care of them. So the first one of the 100 was a little bicycle with a cart that lent for free games and books and toys and a lot of things like a ludothèque. And, and then that we bring it towards a library, an open library in the public space. We try some activities of yoga in the plaza, and then there was this group of collectives that actually form a big group that now still nowadays they continue giving courses around not only that square but around the city. And the third was a plant clinic, a guy who was passionate about sustainability and about taking care of plants, and then him start his business, and also understanding that if he want to be in public space, he need to give his knowledge and share his knowledge. So were 3 fantastic ideas. I can tell you, I mean, 3 amazing stories. Kika from yoga, Miguel from the plant clinic. But above these great ideas, and this is what we learned, we also test 97 others that were not successful. So if we realize testing, we fail more than what we succeed. But we feel so happy that we created this. We understood that we are not the experts; it's the community, is the people, and it's testing towards understanding. And being methodical is also very useful to discover that our ideas, some will be great, and others will be not that great, and it's okay. It's okay to fail.
Yes, it is very motivational. I have read that article as well in which you introduced that you have shared the details of this project. I just simply loved it because I do have plans for the future and I do need the guidance as I start that project in later in this journey. Okay, so how do you initiate a project that brings people to contribute to the process of making a place? For example, how do you engage them, bring their attention towards the project?
Mm. So I believe there is this difference between making a place by the people and for the people, and uh, it's the same as human scale. When professionals take over the discipline, they understand very well the scale. They understand very well that people are the center of their work, and and that's great, no? Because before that they were thinking about buildings and streets, and was another sphere of work. Now they understand that it's the human scale what it's important. But for me, the key is to transform it for the people, because they believe that they are transforming things for them, and they're still constructing uh, by them, by their computer, by their AutoCAD, by their set of rules. And that's a very architect way of thinking, and towards by the people. And that's empowering the communities to construct the public spaces and to give them the capacity of understanding that we are just facilitators of the process rather than constructors of the process. And I make maybe this can help you, but I make a distinction between objects and objectives. When we work with people in like constructing, we do not make them decide about objects, like which color you want to paint the wheels we are recycling. That's not important. Like because we will never. Now we are both dressed in blue, and that was maybe we agree on that, but then tomorrow we will not dress at the same color. So that's and people will deciding about objects, which color of the chair, which color of or which size or which measure, how big, how small. That's something irrelevant for me. It's more the objective, and it's we want a place. We want to have a bright color and something that it look like. That's different. And then maybe us as professionals, we can say, okay, the best solution for this idea of having a bright park is this, or even a contemplation park is this, or having a set of this furniture. But it's about taking out our ego, I will say, and bringing it towards the community.
Yes, agree. Okay, in Latin America, you say newer developments do not tap into the local treasures like economy and cultural traditions. So, what steps have you taken so far to bring the attention or power towards the traditional and local assets?
Yeah, I that's something we share. I think in many countries, it's this division, this idea of copying. You know, uh, we like to copy a lot what we see, and I think it's okay to copy, but I think it's okay to copy the method, the methodology, the ideas, but not the results. Like it's not about copying. We don't want to be New York City, because we will never be New York City. We will be our own cities by understanding our capacities and what we are good at. I always read like this when I was a student. I always read this phrase of don't try to be someone else that you don't want to, like, because you will never. I was living outside. I was living in Europe, in Austria at that time, but don't want to be it's something like this. But if you are an apple, don't try to be a pear, a pear. Don't try to be another fruit, because even that you will taste like it, you will be kind of like it. You will always be a second grade uh, peer. Try to be yourself. Try to understand what is your what make our cities unique, what make ourselves unique, and that is also tradition. That's also understanding ourselves, our past, our cities, our communities. What makes that great? It's not about cleaning and having Dubai kind of development. It's about understanding, because that's copycat of everywhere. It's about understanding what makes us unique, and that what makes us great, and that is traditions, and that is understanding also how diverse Latin America is. Now with this pandemic, we understand that we are the most uh, 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 income inequality. There's the most income inequality region here. Like, we have the as the poor as the richest. And that is so crazy about our region, our countries. And I could understand Pakistan is the same. These differences, but understanding what makes us unique is what will bring us towards a brighter future.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. And this also helps when we try to find the common grounds or the actual uniqueness or the identity of our own countries and our cities. If we find that things are already happening, things are already there, we are just not paying attention towards them, and we are not just taking care of them. And while we are trying to copy other cities, because we just want to get things done in a quick manner, we just don't want to be patient with the changes or the flow, so we try to copy things. Otherwise, we do have things happening already. I see placemaking on everyday basis in my country, in my city, but or should I say that in my area, and I'm just amazed, and it's so inspiring to see that happening. Okay, so the facilities you provide in places for people looks amazing. Where do you get the funds from, and is it from place management, government, people, or the crowdfunding?
Yeah, not the government. I will say that. No, it's not the government. Like, it's more about understanding who could help. No? It's and maybe there's this amazing square in the middle of the city that a private huge company could invest on, because they could have an interest in marketing or social corporate responsibility, and that's understanding it. But what happened in a small town outside the big city, and where there is no interest of any other corporation or any other uh, big company that is interested in investing there. It's the community, it's the people. So I think, and that's what we do now, and that's what I advise everyone, is to balance the interest. Like, maybe in one square there is this corporate that want to invest on it, and that's fine. But what about we sign deals with them, telling them also, we will help you here, this will create you profit, but what about taking some of our time on that project and bring it to another community that will not have necessarily the impact. So this is our role also of organizations, how to bring our work to different levels. We can advise because they need this. Like, also big corporations, big developers need our understanding of places and understanding of success, because they are also looking for success on their developments. But it's our connection of as an organization, as a person, as a professional, how to bring this to other communities. So that's how we get fund, like bringing from one place to the other, and making one-on-one projects development, and then of understanding of where we also need to work on. I don't know if this makes sense to you.
Yeah, it was helpful indeed. I agree because we need to connect people and we have to guide and we have to find the ways to connect a place and the organization and companies together. Okay, so let's have the wrap up questions over here. Okay, so Guillermo, what drives you and what keeps you focused on public spaces?
Yeah, what drives me more in public spaces is observation, rather than discipline. Like this balance between what we are learning and having always been amazed of looking. It's about that's what drives me. Like this capacity of learning more and not being stopped by what we already know. After myself, after 10 years of being into creating successful public spaces, we could start to think that this is enough and we need to stop observing and what we know is enough. Or when we finish university, or when we finish reading a book, that we already know something. But this capacity of observation, this capacity of understanding what's around us and how things are changing all the time. I mean, this pandemic is clear, everything changed for us, but change is always inevitable, and that is something that drives us, and not being obsessed on the past, and not neither being obsessed in the future. I think it's being obsessed in the present, understanding and looking and observing. That's what drives me, and I encourage everyone to also do that.
Yes, and that's the same drive you and I have that I love learning and exploring new things and growing from there. Okay, so what is the proudest moment of your entire work life or any?
Yeah. So it's about, I will say, no. Here in Mexico, we live in, like, in the tropic. It's like, and say, like, when we bring ideas, say, let's tropicalize something. Let's make it more ourselves. But I'm happy of not doing this. They say that you are using a English word, placemaking, to describe what you do, but I'm proud of not really using it. I use it with you to connect with you, to name our organization. But in our daily work with communities, we are not explaining what is our concept. We are just doing it, and we are just empowering them to construct and say, but this is what you do. Like, it's empowerment. It's giving me the capacity to understand the park in front of my house. And if you call it as ever you want, maybe they don't even remember the word. Maybe it's like a magic word for them, and that's fine. It's not that important, and that's what I feel very proud of. Like, it's a way to connect with our global, speaking with you, and it's fantastic. It's speaking with people around the world, meeting a lot of people. That's what I think it's great, and that's what I'm also passionate about, helping creating this global network of leaders, of sharing knowledge, of practitioners on creating places for and by the people. That's what's more important.
Okay, and what was your struggling moment?
Yeah, so I think it's a struggling for everyone, and we say that here in Latin America we always live in crisis. Like this new crisis, it's a big crisis, but we always been in a crisis. So that's the challenge: how to fund our ideas, how to help others without being also thinking of our daily job. So that's the challenge. And in my work, in the beginning has always been so easier, and that's because sharing and understanding that we are not beacon of the knowledge of our country, but we are just the open gate to all other organizations. That's what has been our success and of like organizations. So be open and be patient about fundings and because things will arrive, because it's so much easier to, and I'm again speaking in with Fred Kent words, but it's more about the heart than the mind, like when your heart take you and move you, it's but it's a challenge absolutely to disconnect this the our rationality with our heart.
Yes. Share your favorite placemaking mantra or any quote that you love.
Yes. So maybe I have repeated it all the conversation, but it's like community is the expert. It's not us. It's not us, the urbanists, architects, sociologists, geographers, whatever, politicians. No, more about that, like politicians. That's clear. Or international organizations, or people that speak many languages. It's not that. It's the community. The community is the expert, and we can facilitate and help them achieve their vision, but it's their vision, not our vision. So that is my mantra of placemaking, and
Awesome.
the community is the expert.
Awesome. Okay, so you have shared so many advices throughout this interview for us, for the Pakistan and all the other organizations that are starting this movement. But I would like to ask, do you have any opinion for Pakistan or any advice other than what you have given so far?
Yeah, I mean, I never been, and I would love to go. That's something that and see you in person. Let's wait for this to happen. But I think we share something, Pakistan and Mexico, and it's our passion for street food, and we love street food. Like I think you more than us. And and saying that to my people here, that's hard, but we love street food, and that's also a passion that we need to work on, and that is also I think something that makes us very unique than developed countries. Like our passion for places, our passion for sharing, and it's so temporary. Like I will speak about tacos. The best tacos sometimes are changing all the time. Like it's about the construction of the city, and I guess it's the same with you with your food. Like the best rice, the best preparation, it's changing all the time. So understanding this, it's also understanding our culture. So I definitely will love to be there with you, trying your food, looking at your people. That's something that and we share a lot. Like I love tamarind, I love chilies, and that's things that we share, and and we do it in very different ways. So that's something I will be amazed to see, and if we bring it to another level, is that like how the same ingredient that we do have, how we use it in so many different ways from one place to another, but also from one. We are almost 12 hours away, but almost on the other side of the world, you and me. But how to connect towards these little things is what I would love to know more. So
Yes, I'm looking forward to being a host to you, and yes, exploring these things together. And wow, what experience will it be? Okay, so any message to global leaders out there?
so do it. Start that. Try. Don't be. Like our friends in the developing networks, they're very worried about how we will get the permits and the government and the regulations. And my opinion is just do it. Like start constructing places, because for constructing places, for constructing strong communities, you don't need more than people, and then if if you need to add a swing or an infrastructure, that's different. But bringing people and constructing communities is more about heart than mind, as I say, and it's more about doing. So go there, do your work, uh, start with the small. That's very important. Start with the small, try, test, understand. As I understood that probably 97% of what you try will not work, but that 3% will be amazing and will be great and will be. I still speak with these people 7 years ago, and they send me messages in our Christmas, in my birthday. So that is fantastic. So that is, like, please do it. Don't wait for anyone. Do it. Go outside and transform your city, and because that's transforming yourself as well.
Awesome. It was an awesome interview. It was an awesome talk. I've learned so much, and I was looking forward to this one because after reading the article, I have been looking forward to it because it was so detailed and it was in the order. And yes, this interview was amazing. Thank you so much, Guillermo, for joining me, and I'm looking forward to working with you in the future as well. And I will link the article in the description box below so people can read it and get inspired. Thank you for your time. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, and everyone, and you. Anytime they want to contact me, please do. I'm always available.
Awesome. Take care, Limo. I'll see you next time.
Take care. Keep safe, everyone. Bye.
Bye.